And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vibrant, Visible, Victorious. Why did I pick three V's? Why did I do this to myself? I don't
Because you
know.
love alliteration.
Because I love alliterations. It is true. Having stumbled over my words, thank you, everyone that has been so patient while we've been setting up all of our tech stuff. We did have some technical difficulties. Windows loves to just fuck shit up.
Change things, and this is
Yes.
like my third
Rude.
headphones that I finally got a hold of.
It's all Windows' fault.
Yeah.
However, we are now here. We made it. So we are going to get our show on the road. Welcome. We are playing Sarzamin today, which is my friend Mariam's amazing game, which is so much fun, and I love it so much, and it's gonna be amazing. And today we are going to a Pahari wedding, and I think that's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna let Mariam tell you all about it in just a moment, but first I'm gonna really quickly go through and thank our sponsors. First of all, Tabletop Loot, find dice for all of your gaming needs. Devon Rue, the mistress of the maps, our mapstress and amazing community sponsor, as well as So Nerdwear. It's what the nerds wear. So Nerdwear is the place to get all your amazing Welcome to the Party merch. And you can use the code WELCOME to get 10% off your next purchase. We also have a Patreon, and I'm going to throw that into the chat as well. Boom! And our Patreon not only goes to support the channel, but as it grows, it will act as an incubator, providing funds for amazing artists, writers, and more in the RPG community. We also throw a lot of sneak peeks on there. We've got some amazing and exciting things in the works. So if you want some awesome benefits while supporting some amazing makers, join us on Patreon. It's the best way to support the channel. As always, of course, if you like what you see here, if you want to get involved, if you want to play in 3V, join us on our amazing Discord, and I can always hook you up with this game or with more games. We've got one-shots happening, we've got campaigns happening, there's so much good stuff, so just hop into the Discord if you want to play in 3V. Just like look for me and just be like, at the Lady Bedlam, hi, me, I want to play, and we'll make it happen, right? So definitely feel free to join us on our Discord. And with that, I think that's everything. So I am actually gonna get Mariam to introduce themselves, and then Mariam, you can kind of tell us who is going to be next on the introduction wheel, and then we'll all go around, say your name, who we're playing, pronouns, all that good stuff. Take it away.
Awesome. Hi, I'm the DM who had some tech problems, but that's all good now. And I will be running Surzamin, which is the name of the campaign setting I have for South Asian influenced fantasy D&D 5e. Word salad. Yeah, so I will actually talk a little more about what we're going to be doing today after we introduce the players and their characters. So I will start from what I can see on my screen because I'm not really looking at the chat and this at the same time. Alita, I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
It's Aletta or Alita.
Aletta.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Tell me what you do and what your character is and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, what do you like? Just normal, like what I do.
Whatever. Introduce yourself and then tell me as little as much or as little about your character.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm an illustrator, and you can find all that stuff on my Twitter, which is linked in the thing. Yeah, and I'm playing Karani, a desert druid, from Registani Bavra. And yeah, she's a younger druid, not quite an apprentice, but still like new. Kind of quiet, but kind of going along for the ride. She likes weddings, so she's coming along.
Awesome. Okay, then I will next go to Adrian.
Hi, I'm Adrian. I guess I kind of work in podcasting right now, and I'm playing Shiraj. He is a rogue from West Pahari, and he is currently the retainer of Leona's character, DT, or kind of her valet. So he's had kind of a colorful past, and now he's returning back to West Pahari for this wedding of his niece, Amira. And so that's going to be an interesting experience for him, because I don't think that he's been back in West Pahari for probably 5 years, and I don't think he's seen a member of his family since then. So it'll be fun, hopefully.
Yeah, Last you saw your niece, she had little pigtails and was running around,
Yeah.
and being a kid. Now she's getting married.
Yeah, big changes.
Yep. And next, perfect timing. We go to
Thank you.
we go now to Russ. Please describe yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm Russ. My pronouns are he, him. I will be playing Vikram Sitra. He is he uses he, him pronouns. He is a water genocide bard. He's a very nervous sort of guy, very shy, doesn't really talk too much, but he loves performing. He loves storytelling. And he's just sort of joined up with this group, and he's attending a wedding which he hasn't really gone to, and he's hoping he gets a chance to perform.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Leona.
Hi, my name is Leona. I am at the Lady Bedlam on Twitter, and I am playing Aditi, who is a tiefling and a runaway princess. So, and she is from Mahajin, so you're going to find out a little bit about her.
Okay. So all of you, as Adrian and Shiraj had mentioned earlier, you all know each other prior to the adventure or met on the journey, and you are heading to his hometown, or at least his where his sister currently lives. She married, and this is something that Shiraj would have mentioned as you were traveling and heading. That she had a very good match and married the lord of that town. The name of the town is Kushhimdag, and it is nestled in the valley of 3 giant mountain ranges and has a very special significance, which you may find out later in the game. And his sister has actually basically gave the good news of, niece has found a good match, and we need your help, and also your family. You better show up. And I will let Shiraj add any extra things. So you are about to make your way there. Is there any conversations that the group has?
I think that Shiraj is like noticeably anxious about this. So he's I guess to describe me as a young guy, probably 22, in like traditional like Paharian garb. So he wears kind of white, like kind of a white. I can't remember what it's called, but it's sort of the gown robe with a red sash.
Like the kurta
Yeah.
top?
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's like a sherwani, or
Yeah,
it's like a
that's what
kurta. Yeah, sherwani.
Yeah. And like a red sash and navy cloak kind of over top. And he's very scarred on one side. He's like missing part of his ear. But otherwise, he's kind of a boyish looking guy. So I think that are we riding? Or walking?
Probably riding, or in part of a caravan traveling over there. It's completely up to you whether you took a caravan or just got your own horses, or just traveling with all of you in tow, just you, rather than a caravan traveling.
I think we could be riding if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
So I think that Shiraj is really sort of nervously gripping his reins, and like as we're getting closer and closer, he's like looking over the horizon, and is obviously very anxious, although not saying it.
I think Aditi will look over and go, Shiraj, what's going on?
It's fine, ma'am. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring this on you. I am really thankful that you're, going along with me. I just haven't been home in a while, and I haven't seen them. So, everything will be fine. I've changed in some ways, and I think that they might be surprised. But
I have faith that everything is going to be fine. Let's just take deep breaths and focus on the road.
Right. Yep. Thank you. Thanks. Do you need anything?
I'm perfectly fine. And Aditi is actually going to be, to describe Aditi very quickly for anyone who doesn't know her, she is a slightly darker skinned tiefling. She does actually have horns that kind of poke out of her head, like about here on her forehead. She does wear a dupatta, which is a scarf over her head just to kind of cover the horns, because when you're traveling, you don't need them sticking out. Because she's actually run away from home, she keeps her scarf a little bit in her face to prevent other people from seeing her. And she's riding on the back of a black panther, which is her panther named Bailu. The harness that Bailu has is covered in this beautiful beadwork, and she's just kind of holding on to it. But she smells at Shiraj and she says, "No, I'm okay. I just want to make sure that you're okay."
Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me, man. It's fine.
Listen, you're my friend. It's my job to worry about you too.
That's very kind. I'm just glad not to be going to this alone.
Aww.
And does Vikram or Kirani join in the conversation?
Go ahead.
No, she would definitely not butt into a private conversation.
Vikram's actually kind of talking to himself under his breath, going over some of the stories that he could tell and mentally going over the tales and how they start and how they finish and the narrative beats. He's trying to make sure that he has it all memorized properly. And on the back of his horse, there's a floating pen and quill and journal that's lightly scribbling, as his invisible servant is riding on the horse with him, just taking minor notes.
So there's a floating book, and there's a pen.
Quill. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
That's awesome.
Just taking some minor notes as he's riding. I hadn't really decided what he was wearing, but I'm assuming that he'd be wearing something formal for the wedding, even if it's just showing up for the beginning part of the wedding. It's still very fancy. He has this very blue skin, it's very patchy and splotchy, but the color of it changes occasionally in different places, like the ocean, and his hair is this bright white sea foam that just constantly seems to be moving on his head.
Okay. So as you are all at this point sort of cresting over the hill that will go into the valley, you are all, depending on whether you find such landscapes breathtaking, your breath is taken away by the sight of it. And this is probably your first time you've been in this town. When you met family, you met them in your home village, Hiraj. So this is the first time you're actually here to this particular village, your sister's marital home. And you see now these three peaks almost in a triangular formation, with one sort of running north in a northern fashion, and the other, I have instructions written places. Yeah, so one sort of running north, just north to south, but on the northern end of this, as you're coming in from the south. And then you see two more sort of ranges that are going northeastward and northwestward, and they form this little sort of downward facing triangular sort of a valley. And there's a small river going through it, but you basically are getting this almost aerial view of this mountainous down, this down that is in this valley. And you can see that there's this Lord's Manor, which is surrounded by orchards and trees, and you see there's a whole lot of activity happening right in front of the house, which is almost like a public square of sorts as well. And you just see they all look like ants at this point, and there's these little ants that are congregating in various colors and hues, and it looks like preparations are already underway. And as you start going from sort of going downhill into the valley, you start to hear the sound of drums and singing as you're approaching. And as you get closer to the town, you're nostrils are assaulted by the smell of frying dough and various items. And is that sweets that you smell? Like, you smell saffron, you smell apricots, you smell dairy, all these combinations assaulting you as you slowly make your way into town. Is there anything you do, say, or...
I think Shiraj looks like at this, and he's like, yeah, I think he's pretty like breathtaken by the sight, and he's like, oh, it's a fancy place.
Vikram kind of, his stomach rumbles very quietly, and he's like, I'm quite hungry. I'm very excited for some of the food that they might have.
Yeah, it should be good, I'm sure.
Are your family good cooks, or is...
Oh, I imagine that they've hired some. It was a lot of goat when I was growing up, but...
Ooh, goat.
Yeah, you start to smell a little charcoal as well at this point, like the smell of char-grilled meat of some kind is starting to hit your senses as you're getting closer and closer. And you notice that the outskirts of town, for the most part, are absolutely deserted. And you probably imagine that is because everyone is in that center point.
Right.
Do you all keep heading towards the activity, the center of activities that is happening?
Yeah, I think that I will like spur my horse on a little faster, not wanting to be late, because I don't know what our schedule is.
At this point, as you've reached, it took like about at least an hour from the top of that sort of incline to make your way down and then head to the village. And as you, it's probably close to noon by the time you get to the center of the village, and you notice that there is a lot of it's almost at this point slightly segregating into gender just a little bit, as you notice a lot of the men and the young boys are sort of doing heavy lifting off putting up poles, putting up staged events, and you see a lot of the girls, especially the younger girls, are sort of making are surrounding this one particular charpai, which is sort of like a daybed. And you can't really see who's there. It's just there's lots of girls swarming her. And all around this charpai, there's a whole bunch of older women sitting with little bowls and spoons, metal spoons, and they're starting to play very common ditties that are sort of marital ditties about girls getting married, or like what to expect in a home, or love songs, various things like that. And you notice towards the side, there is a couple of older men and women preparing little bags of things as you approach. And a couple of the people closest to you sort of turn and look at all of you and then go back to what they're doing. They don't seem terribly surprised by these adventurers coming in. You get the sense they probably assume that you're here for the wedding and don't think much of it.
Okay, I should find my sister, I think.
Yeah, you see her sitting, sort of standing just above the charpai that is surrounded by a whole bunch of people, and she looks at you and she's like, so you're finally here. Glad of you to make it. So glad you could make it.
Sorry. Yeah, I get off my horse and I come towards her, and I'm like, I came as soon as I got your message.
She just cracks up and she's like, I was just teasing you. And she's like, come here, it's been so long. And she just grabs you into sort of a bear hug.
I hug her back.
And she looks at everyone else and is like, I see you've brought friends.
Yeah, these are my companions. This is Vikram. This is Karani. And is there an assumed name that you're traveling under?
So Aditi is actually her middle name, fun
Oh,
fact.
okay.
My character's first name is actually Vaidehi, so she's actually Vaidehi Aditi Thakur, so she would have probably already given you the A-OK to introduce her as Aditi, but she'll keep her head up, right?
Yeah, so I think what Shiraj does is he starts to say, and this is her, this is Aditi.
Sort
Hello.
of looks you up and down. Aditi comes and gives you the biggest bear hug, and she's like, you know, my brother's okay. And she sort of looks,
Hi,
and she looks back to Shiraj and is like, yeah, tell me more about your. And she sort of like shoulder checks you, your girlfriend, please.
Oh, no. No, I work for her. I'm sworn in service to
Taking pity on him, Bailu the Panther decides to walk up and introduce himself to the sister. So basically, she just sees this ginormous Black Panther, like, walking towards her, like this big,
She
slow
initially
steps.
sort of goes behind Shiraj, is like, what's that?
Oh,
This is my Panther, Bailu. He's very friendly. He just wants to say hi.
Hi?
And Bailu sort of like rubs his face up against her a little bit, and then he, wanders over back to Aditi, and he's sniffing the air because he smells meat and good food and definitely wants some of it.
Sort of like there, and I'm not sure what to think of you, and sort of is like, your girlfriend likes big kitties.
I wish you wouldn't. Sorry, I as I said, it's a professional. I'm her. Anyways, where's
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, brother. Anyways, come meet your niece. And she yells, Amira! And Amira sort of rises from all the girls surrounding her, and you notice her hands are up like this. They're covered in like henna and mehndi up to her elbow, and she sort of is walking around like she has no hands at the moment free. She's walking around and she's like, Mama Jan, you're here. And she sort of is now like, how am I supposed to hug you? And just kind of shoulder kind of like pats you like that.
The good old-fashioned shoulder tap, yep.
Yeah.
You look beautiful. It's been a long time. You're much older.
Yeah. You're much older too.
Yeah, and uglier, I'm afraid. But that's besides the point.
And she says, I'm so glad you could make it. After all, we need all the help we can get to lift me over from this village to the next, eh?
I'm sure it won't be too much trouble. But I'm happy to be here to help. These are my friends, and we're just they're please. And I turn to them like,
and she sort of does tries not to shake too hard as she says hello.
At this point, you would definitely notice that Vikram isn't there anymore.
Oh no!
He's already joined the circle of women who are playing music, and he has his dotara, and he's playing with them.
Awesome.
At some point during the conversation, he disappeared.
Yeah.
Went over there.
I gesture towards him. I'm like, oh, that's Vikram is there too. He's making friends. I see. Hold on 1 second.
And she looks at you and says, "So which one's your girlfriend?"
Shiraj just like goes completely pale and is like, none are my girlfriend. I'm here with my friends.
We're friends. Unless it would
Right,
be easier for you.
friends.
Isn't this all about you? This is your special occasion? Why are we talking about me? It's what can I do to help?
Oh, right. It is my special occasion. I guess. Yeah. And she says, well, at this point, I think you're supposed to be smearing some honey all over my face to make me all golden glow and all that stuff. And you notice at this point that she's already had a couple of smears on her cheek and her on her neck and a lot of, and you notice now that once there was a little space cleared, that there's these two big bowls of this like golden yellow paste that everyone's hands are just a little stained, and clearly they've been smeared all over the bride in various places.
Yeah, Sharaj kind of looks down at his hands, and he's got like kind of leatherish like gloves on because he wears like leather armor over his stuff, and so he's unbuckling, and he's kind of like, oh, the road, my hands are a little dusty.
That's okay. And she comes up and sort of puts her cheek right next to your hand and smears it on it, and she's like, well, just put it back on.
Yeah, I do so. I dip my hand in and smear her.
And where's my blessing?
Oh my god.
It's been a while. I'm sorry. I haven't been to a wedding in some time.
Clearly.
At this point, I think because she kind of has a slightly better idea of what's going on, because it's a henna party. She's been to quite a few, so she will kind of pat Shiraj on the shoulder, and Bailey will be kind of following along behind it. She'll kind of go out to the haldi, and she'll stick her fingers in it, do a nice full coat on her cheeks, and then along her shoulders as well. And then she has just a few gold coins that she'll, place like in the tray probably, because she doesn't want to ruin the henna itself. But she'll go, that's for you there, and that's blessings from all of us for a very happy and wonderful marriage.
And she smiles and she's like, thank you. And then she turns to Shira and she's like, see, your girlfriend knows better.
Whoops.
Thank you. Thanks, Aditi. I'm sorry, Amira. Last time I was at a wedding, I was younger than you by far, and I couldn't wait to get out of there.
You're only 3 years older than me.
Well, I definitely had other places to be.
It is totally fine, and I am perfectly willing to go with the flow. She kind of emphasizes go with the flow if that makes your life a little easier. It's completely fine. And then turns over her shoulder and sees Bailu putting a paw in the haldi, and she'll go, get out of there! Don't do that! Stop it! You're a Black Panther.
And
why
now
are you
there's like haldi prints all over the place. And he's even been licking a little of it, and he's like,
Bailu, why? You goofy cat.
At this point, is Kirani doing anything? We're just silently observing.
Yeah, she doesn't really know what's going on. She hasn't been to this like sort of wedding, so yeah, she's just observing.
Okay, so Vikram, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, would it help Kirani if Aditi like explained what exactly the party was like?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure, go ahead.
So we'll say that some of the festivities continue on after Aditi takes a step back, and so she'll come and stand next to Kirani, and she'll go, so this is perfect timing. We have arrived here just in time for the pre-wedding party, basically. It's a henna ceremony and a haldi ceremony. So the haldi is a golden turmeric that's applied to the face and the body, and it's part of the beauty rituals. It's meant to signify, making the bride all pretty for her wedding. And similarly, the henna is also a very decorative thing. So that's what her arms are covered in, and all of that is just kind of very ritual and significant. And Mariam, feel free to add stuff if I need to add stuff. I haven't exactly rolled history on this, but I think they kind of knows what she's talking about.
And Shiraj knows that because the match has been made with another town that is a several days ride, that this is actually sort of the pre-festivity before the actual wedding will take place. The wedding won't take place in this town. It will take place in the groom's town, and that's where she will basically go and get married. And this is sort of like her pre-wedding and post-wedding festivities all rolled into one, and this is her ruxati. as well.
No, I'm
where
not
she will
familiar
say
with that
farewell.
term.
Yeah, that's sort of the farewell where the bride leaves her childhood home and goes to her marital home. And at this point, Vikram, you sit down with all these ladies who are on various different drums, and they're using spoons to sort of they're using one hand to actually beat the drum, and then the spoon is hit on the side of the drum, not on the skin, to sort of give an extra beat. That is sort of metallic, sort of it's the equivalent of, like, you know, when you have the little metal chime thing on a drum kit. Because I know all the terms totally, and I'm totally not saying the chime kit thing is totally what it's called. But yeah, they're using the spoon to create like a little metallic clink sound, with the sort of drum thud that is there, because I know musical terms so well. And they're singing a variety of songs, and one of the songs you catch is basically a song that is on the lines of, you know, Latte di chadar utte saleti rang mahiya ao samrne rolo di risakina rang mahiya, and similar sort of songs. And then there's another song where basically one person is singing about, you know, I told my loved one to go get candy from the bazaar, but he came back with lemons, and various ways they're all one-upping the other how incompetent their loved one is. So what do you do as you're absorbing all of that?
I think he just starts playing along with his Dattara. I think he's just sort of strumming along, keeping the beat. He's not really trying to show off or stand out. He's just sort of trying to build more into it, and make the sound expand, rather than like, it's all about me, because it's not about him. It's the wedding that's about the bride and everything. So he's sort of just participating. He's not going to sing or anything. He's just playing.
Okay, give me a performance check.
Ooh, first check of the game. Good luck to me.
Okay, yeah. You managed to blend in and sort of harmonize really well with all of it, and it adds another pleasant dimension to all the singing and dancing that is happening. Is there anything anyone else does as the festivities continue?
Are people dancing?
Yeah, there are lots of people dancing. You see occasionally there are girls, boys, men and women occasionally coming, especially when when their jam happens and they're like, oh yeah, totally. And there's actually the song where it's sort of like at certain points there's another song that starts singing where it's like they're calling out different people in the family. So it's like, I went away for so long, and when I came back, I got this thing for my mother. And then the mother gets roped in, and they make her dance. And then another point, they call the father, and then the grandmother, and the grandfather, and then they actually call out for the mother's brother or the uncle, and then a couple of girls just grab onto you and pull you in to dance.
Yeah, I'll go with it reluctantly.
Okay, so do you try to dance?
Yeah, I'll definitely try. Yeah.
Okay, give me a performance check.
Sure. Oh my gosh,
performance. The best part of the pre-wedding party is all of the awkward family dancing.
Yeah, you managed to actually move your limbs in a way that
I'm pretty
kind
light
of
on
go
my
with
feet,
it. Yeah.
But I guess the rhythm is in question. But
Yeah. So, as your sister at some point sort of takes you away from the festivities, and she says, "I'm so glad you're here."
Me
Um,
too. Yeah, it's good to
yeah.
be back.
I mean, I told you in the letter who she's getting married to, so yeah, it's all working well, and I just wanted to let you know what we're planning on doing. And she looks up, and you notice at this point there's clouds overhead, like there's going to be rain at some point, and she says,
Mhm.
"Well, I hope it doesn't rain until we're all done being outdoors, because that would be unfortunate. Especially my daughter's mehndi. I don't want it to wash off. You know what they say about the mehndi. If the color's not strong, then the wedding will be it'll be inauspicious, and or the marriage won't last. So need to make sure the color's strong."
I'm sure everything will be fine. You must have had so much work to do. Um,
Yeah, it's um I'm actually surprised that she agreed to this marriage. I mean, I told you how ever since for the past 3 or 4 years we've been trying to get her married, and a very good alliance. And we have businesses in Firdos, and as an aside, Firdos is sort of the nearest big hub in the
yeah.
area, and your brother-in-law has actually got quite a lot of influence and sort of wealth from there. And she says, yeah, there was even some noble alliance like matches over there, and she refused all of them. But of course, we don't ever want to force her into anything she doesn't want to do. It was always her. She always we always made sure she decided where she wanted to go. And when we suggested the gulls, and the gulls are the lords of Parbatka, which is the village
Mhm.
you're from, she actually said yes. So that it all, I'm just making sure this happens before she says she changes her mind.
Is he a good man?
Yeah, I mean, peop, as far as I know, he's a very sweet boy. Um, there's couple of people gossiping that the fact that she's a couple of years older than him, somehow uh, she's they people say things. They say that, oh, the bride shouldn't be older than the groom and all those things. But he's a sweet boy. The his father knows my husband, and this is all really good. Like this, I just want to make sure nothing goes wrong.
I'll make sure. Um, I'll keep an eye out, and of course, we'll do everything we can. Um, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for leaving. I feel like I missed everything and with Amira, but she's seems like a lovely, intelligent girl.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about her friends, though. They are not taking it well that she's getting married, and there's been some fights among her friends, and she's sort of like, you're sort of taken away, and she sort of looks towards the group, and you notice there's like one there's one girl who's about Amira's age, and she's been very attentive and very, like, sort of, you get the sense she's like a maid of honor sort of a role, and she's just sort of hovering around her, making sure everything's done, feeding her food, like being her arms and legs and everything, just being like the perfect maid of honor. And she says, yeah, I'm just concerned that maybe she might try to do something. I don't know. They've been having a lot of fights ever since the marriage has been fixed.
Maybe I'll have Vikram speak with her. What's her name?
Her name is Gulabo.
We'll keep an eye out for sure.
Yeah. But I'm so happy you're here, and I mean, Amira has been such a blessing to us ever since we had her, and I'm just so glad she's we finally get to do our parental duty and make sure she has a good match.
And I put a hand on her shoulder, and I'm like, the hard part's almost over.
Yeah. But I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
And at this point, the festivities go on until it's now getting to about dusk, until and you now notice that the char-grilled food smell you were smelling was of this gigantic goat being propped up onto a spit and is sort of being turned around and cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is there anything, like, does anybody want to explore, speak to people, or do anything before we sort of forward time?
Maybe Aditi will kind of like go over to check in on Shiraj, and she'll kind of yeah, I think she'll do that. She'll kind of go, like, she'll see that there's kind of like tense conversations happening, and she'll go over and she'll say, Shiraj, I've seen more than one wedding. I know that these events can be stressful, particularly for family. I know you feel strongly about working for me, and I very much appreciate it. But I think this is an opportunity for me to give back to you for all of your time with me as well. And if you need any help, just let me know, okay?
Of course. And then in private, he'll say, Your Highness, my sister told me something about one of Amira's friends. She seems unhappy about the marriage. I don't know if you or maybe Vikram or Karani could speak to her and find out how she's feeling. I'd hate for her to spoil anything.
Absolutely. I think I can work on that for sure.
And actually, I'll beckon Karani over too.
Mm-hmm.
Karani, I know your nature magic is very strong. Do you have any way of telling what the weather is going to be?
No, I do not, unfortunately.
I think Druidcraft should be able to do that. I don't remember.
I will say,
yeah, tell me
you
what
could
check.
probably do a survival check or a nature check just to sort of feel, just look at the sky, sort of, do that.
Yeah, okay, I'll do survival.
Okay. All right. So you look around you look at the sky, you do the whole, lick your finger and stick it out in a couple of directions, and you say, it might rain, maybe.
Oh dear.
Basically, the check was, you're not quite sure, probably precipitation, 15% of precipitation with like a 40% moisture content. Something on those lines. Yeah.
And Karani, does Karani share that with us?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Thank you. My sister was saying some superstition about the color. I don't know, but
I do know, but it's fine. Carry on.
As you can tell, I'm just very out of my element. Whenever we had marriages in my family, I was trying to get as far away from it.
Well, you can share that, Aditi, if you know what that means.
Yes. The darker the Depending on who you ask. I've heard a couple of old wives' tales. They seem to be
Which are canon in the world, so go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're
Well,
really
and they
bad.
differ from village to village. And sometimes the darker the henna, the more your husband loves you. Sometimes the darker your henna, the more your mother-in-law loves you. If your henna isn't dark, that's a bad sign. It's bad news. But I also know a few tricks, just a few nature tricks to make sure that that henna is nice and dark. So I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead if you had something else
No,
to
I
do.
didn't.
Okay, so is there anything you would like to do wandering around as the wedding is happening?
I think first of all I want to go hunt down the friend if Kirani wants to join me.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, the friend is being as I had mentioned earlier, the quintessential, like, perfect maid of honor, just hovering around the bride and making sure all her needs are being met, feeding, like, putting the glass close to her mouth and giving her water anytime she's thirsty, being like the perfect best friend.
And Aditi is gonna go up to her and she's gonna go, Gulabo! They're calling you over there. Take a break. Here, let me feed her. And why don't you go over there and check on the sweets? And she'll just kind of like try to like almost like replace her so that Gulabo is like free to like go elsewhere and she's kind of hoping.
Give me a deception check.
Okay. She's got a plan. I don't know how good it is. All right. And how do I do this with these sheets? This is
Okay, so I
just
believe
click
for
on-
the skill checks, you just click on the skill check and it should
okay.
roll for you.
Boop. Oh, I think it did it. Yes.
Yep. Okay, so she sort of is there. It is absolute chaos. So she just looks like, huh? Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Sure. I'll be back. I'll be back, Amira.
Don't worry, Amira's in safe hands with me.
And she just nods and sort of walks off in the direction you told her. And then, do you do anything after that, or do you just stay in place while she goes off?
Well, I'm gonna peek over my shoulder and see what Kirani's doing.
Karani has no idea what your plan is.
Oh shoot! I should have discussed this first. I was thinking like get her away from the bride, and then like some of us can like intervene.
She goes off towards where Karani is, looks at you, and says, "What was the thing about the sweets?"
Oops.
I don't know anything about any sweets.
Huh, that was weird. And she walks up and comes to you, and she looks at you, and she says, I think you have me mistaken. There was nothing about sweets. Well, it's okay now. I'll take care of my friend."
Hey, God. These people, they've wandered off in a different direction, and she will, like, actively abandon her station, grab Gulabo by the shoulders, and, like, drag her away.
Okay. And at this point, she's like, "Okay, well, what is this thing going on? Like, who are you?"
My name is Aditi. Oh, have you not met? Oh, I came with Shiraj. I'm one of his friends.
Oh, his girlfriend.
Sure, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, we're just friends, but everyone seems to think we are, so at this point I've just
Well,
stopped
if you
arguing.
bring a girl to a wedding, usually means a girlfriend.
I know what it means. He's too shy, okay? You can help me set him up while we're here, okay? I could totally use a hand. But I wanted to ask you how you were doing. You've been so amazing. You've been just the most incredible maid of honor. And she'll, like, bring Kirani in next to her and, like, so that it's, like, the three of them, like, just huddled together kind of a thing. And it's just, like, this random, like, group huddle, like, in a quiet corner. And it's just, like, the strangest, slightly sketchiest thing ever. But she's just like, but you've been so wonderful, and I was just wondering if you needed any help with anything, or if you're doing all right. Should I get you some ladoos?
No.
Oh, okay. You seem sad. Is everything okay?
No, I'm okay. Well, I can't really believe this wedding's happening.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, she refused much better matches, and now she's marrying that guy in the middle of nowhere.
Do you think she's in love?
Give me an insight check,
Ooh.
Aditi.
Okay.
And since Kirani's there, Kirani can make one too. Kirani, you see her expression change as she's basically trying to cover up something else, and she says, "Yeah, I guess maybe she's in love." But you get the sense that there's something else that you aren't able to quite put your finger on it. Like, she
Okay.
doubts that, or she thinks it's impossible.
Okay, I catch Aditi's eye and kind of this small shake of my head.
Quick side note, roll call RP, thank you for the raid, lots of love. But then yay! So just a quick little side note there. But Aditi will kind of nod and she'll kind of pause in thought for a minute and she'll kind of look back at Kirani and just quirk a brow do you have any ideas?
And just a small little shrug. That was, yeah.
What do you think is going on here? Is this some kind of business dealing?
To who?
To Glebo.
Oh, well, we are wealthy, and I guess they might have been old royalty. You put one and one together.
Are you thinking of doing anything about it?
No, why would I?
I'm just asking. I don't know. Weddings are strange and stressful times, and it can do things to all of us.
Well, I wouldn't do that to my friend. I'll be sad she's leaving, but maybe she'll realize all of this on her own, and maybe, who knows what'll happen. Well, I really must get back to her since no one's there to help her, and she walks off.
Darn. What do you think, Kirani?
I think she's hiding something, but I'm not quite sure what. And I'm not quite sure if she'll actually do anything about it.
Well, at least she won't do anything about it. It feels like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I'm not so sure that's a good idea. I wonder what would happen if we went to talk to the bride and see what the bride thinks. Mets girl, thank you for the bits. Yay!
So what would you like to do?
I'm just thinking. Should we try and get in with the bride? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that could be a good idea.
We're the friends, not the family, so we can try and be nosy, right?
At this point, you notice that the bride is sort of getting up, and it looks like she's going to go use the restroom, and the best friend's coming along.
Oh no!
And the two of them are just going off towards to use the restroom.
I have a better plan.
Okay.
Let's not approach the bride, but let's stay close enough to listen.
Ah, yes.
Okay, so I think we're gonna do that.
Okay, give me a stealth check, the two of you.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh, no, this is bad.
Oh
Okay, so this is what happens. They head towards the back of the house where there is basically sort of an outhouse sort of a situation. And you hear the sound of like water rushing, like someone's peeing. And you think you're being silent or sort of being quiet when you hear Galabo's voice saying, "Look, creepos, leave the bride alone."
Oh,
and I book it out of there. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
I know you're there. And
Sorry. Oh yeah, that did not work. Oh.
However, as you both are leaving, you do hear, like as you're sort of moving away, you do hear, it's not enough to hear it, like to hear words, but you do hear sort of the two of them arguing as you book it. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Vikram.
So sorry about that.
It's okay.
That's
it
okay.
happens.
You miss drama, but that's cool.
Oh no.
Yeah. Could have used you, but it's okay.
Well, let's imagine at this point Shira just having a conversation with Vikram
Yeah.
if you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm here.
Just before you all dive into that, just a quick heads up. We have a fun little thing here on Welcome to the Party where when our viewers cheer us a certain number of bits, sometimes folks can get advantages. So I'm checking in chat right now, and the lovely Mets girl that cheered us 500 bits has decided to give my character Aditi an advantage so that I can use an advantage
All
at any
right.
point in the future on a roll, so I can roll with advantage and hopefully get a slightly better roll at the most critical point in this wedding. So yeah.
I will allow you, if you really want to use it retroactively or hang on to it.
I'm
for
gonna hold
later.
on to it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm seeing a 5 and a 3, so I feel like
Yeah, it's just like, it's okay. We'll just pretend it never happened.
I feel like things haven't stood up to my 15
No.
yet.
They kind of tried to sneak up and overhear bride conversations, and they got mistaken for like weird perverts at a bathroom.
Cool.
I'm imagining
Not cool.
that so Vikram is maybe still playing music and Shiraj is kind of trying to like get in there to talk to him. And yeah, so I'll explain in short form that basically
Yeah, sure.
yeah, the bride Amira's best friend Galabo was Galabo was my sister, was a little suspicious of her and worrying that she maybe doesn't want this marriage to happen. And so I guess that's basically it. This marriage to happen, and that I had talked to and so I guess that's basically Karani about trying to marriage to investigate that. And I think maybe we see them running from
They're
the
now
bathroom.
fleeing towards you as that is happening.
So
Yeah, that's
Vikram like sees them all running and like stops mid song, like literally places his hand on the strings to stop.
Oh no.
Because he's like, and like he is like pushing himself away from the group. And he's gonna head over to the gang and see what's happening. And then after being caught up, he says, "Oh well, you really should have just told me, because I could have helped."
I was trying. You just seemed very busy with. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, you did try and talk to me.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. Okay, so who am I speaking to? Who do I need to talk to?
Maybe I don't know if we should leave.
And at this point, the bride and the best friend are sort of walking out, and
Aditi kind of
best friend
pulls her
is trying
dupatta up to hide her face.
Is
Like,
trying
she
to
just
look
kind of
for-
like this. Like, she just like, I don't want to talk to these people anymore.
and because you do that, she realizes it's the two of you who were stalking.
Oh no! Come on.
And she just gives you this dirty look of, I know what you were doing, and sort of goes back.
Listen, talk to the dupatta girl.
Um, so Vikram, seeing like this whole reaction, is like, okay, he thinks he knows what's going on. He says, okay, so it was you two who were caught then, right? Shiraj,
Yes.
you're good.
Yeah, although I don't know if I should really be interfering too much because it's family, but
Okay, so then I guess I should see if I could do something, right?
Yeah.
please.
All right. And he like flashes you this big smile. Um, except he's a little like he then realizes that he's smiling really big and he like pulls it back and like looks around kind of nervous.
Aw.
And he's gonna head over to the best friend, whose name is what again? I didn't catch it.
Glabo.
Galabo. He's gonna head over to Galabo and the bride.
And people are still applying haldi all over her face, and she's sort of tired being sort of like the way there's almost like a procession of people coming, smearing her cheek, taking some, and you notice that this is basically a rice pudding. And they're taking a little teeny tiny spoon, like a teaspoon, and just feeding her. And she, on her face, you can see on the bride's face, she's clearly getting sick of kheer at this point.
Who gets sick of Kier? Who is this bride? How dare?
When you have
just
100 people smearing your face with stuff and then feeding you a teaspoon of it.
Okay, maybe. Listen, if you're gonna have it, you gotta have it with a tablespoon and one big bowl and all. No, I'm just saying.
I know,
listen to
because
me.
I was once that bride in that procession line, exact procession line.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I bet you would get tired of it for sure.
And she clearly looks like she needs a palate cleanser at some point. Just she's like this, sort of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
thank you. Like sort of like she's getting pretty tired of basically being the center of attention.
So Vikram is in line in the procession, and I'm assuming he eventually gets to the front. Unless
Yep.
you want to RP line waiting the simulator.
Unless you have something you want to say during the line, sure.
No. He is going to cast Invisible Servant again,
Okay.
Unseen Servant, as a ritual while he's waiting in line, because it's a long,
Okay.
long line. And he's going to reach into his bag and pull out like a little water skin. And he's going to approach, and as he does, he looks towards his unseen servant and says, Adesh, can you go ahead and put everything on? And the like scoops of the paste go up and like get rubbed on her face by the unseen servant, and then like the little spoon of food goes up to her
She
too.
is a little creeped out by the invisible. She's sort of like,
Oh, that's just Adesh. He's totally fine. He can't do anything wrong. Here, I thought you might want something to help cleanse your palate, and he's going to pour some water into her mouth.
she sort of reluctantly takes it.
Okay.
And she's okay.
Is her best friend like next to her?
Yeah. Basically being, the best friend, like in sort of like weddings in North America where the best friend does everything, takes them to the bathroom and all those
Yeah,
things. So she's
yeah.
basically doing that.
So as he's like sort of just talking to her, he's going to very casually say like, "Oh, do you think that I happen to be a bard, a performer, and I was hoping that maybe I could perform at your wedding in a few days?"
Yeah, I mean,
I can play a little bit if you'd like. And he pulls out his Dotara.
Yep.
And he's going to strike a few chords, and he's going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
On who?
I'm casting it on the best friend.
Yeah, I get. So the target is a creature. Yeah, so you're on the best friend.
Yep.
Okay, so I will roll. I need a dice roller of my own because I don't actually
I mean, they don't roll initially.
Yeah.
They only roll if I probe deeper.
Oh,
But-
okay. So you get surface thoughts.
Yep.
Okay. So the surface thoughts you get are weird person, is that magic? And you also get the surface thoughts of can't believe she's doing this to me, like feelings of betrayal,
Mhm.
and also feelings of it's either tonight or never.
So his first thing that he says after that, it says, "Oh, but you must be so excited for the wedding, aren't you?"
To who?
This is to the bride, but the best friend's right next to her.
Yeah, and she says, "Yeah, I mean, my whatever my parents think is best for me, and that's all good." I've heard he's a very nice person.
Hmm. And what happens with the best friend's thoughts?
Uh, you hear liar, you know, you hear naughtunky, uh, which is like drama queen.
Mhm. Oh, and
Oh,
so
snap.
this party goes on all night. What's your plans for tonight then? I haven't been to a wedding in quite a long time.
She sort of puts her hands up and looks at you like, yeah, this is pretty much all I'm doing.
Hmm.
And you're probing. Are you gonna try to probe deeper?
No, I'm staying on the surface thoughts for now.
And you hear you sort of get the sense of I better make sure I back, and that's at this point it's starting to get the end of the 1 minute mark.
Okay. Um, and he's going to look at her like the best friend and
Yeah.
say, "Aren't you so excited for her?" And then he's going to probe deeper with it.
Okay, so now needs a check.
Wisdom saving throw.
What is your save DC?
DC 13.
Okay, so yeah, you make the save. Sorry, she fails. So let me read.
She knows that I've done it. No matter what, she knows that
Yeah.
I've done it.
You, yeah, you hear nothing. You sort of sense nothing but absolute love, for the bride, and you. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure.
Mhm.
The target naturally shapes of this party. Okay, so those are just extra things that get done while that's doing. And sort of you get the sense that pack her bags and the bride's bags, and sort of basically running. Fleeing.
Oh.
And at that point, she now is like, looks at you, and she's sort of giving this confused look of, what are you doing? And at this point, she says, excuse me, I need to use the restroom. And she just walks off
Mhm.
at this point.
He does a short bow and he says, "I will not disturb you anymore." And then he leaves the procession, and he's going to immediately go up to Shiraj and be like, "Shiraj, I have something to tell you.
What?
Your niece is a lesbian."
I had to be dramatic. Oh my god.
I think Shiraj is taken aback, but he's like, "Oh, but she's getting married. What's happening?"
Well, I read the mind of the best friend, and they're planning on packing her bags and running away tonight. So clearly this wedding is wrong. The bride said that she's planning on doing whatever her parents think is best, so I do not think that her parents know that she is a lesbian. In addition, the best friend feels nothing but love, and not like, ooh, I love this person, but like, ooh, I love this person.
Okay. Wow. This is.
Are we hearing this? No.
If you're out,
Yeah, I
well,
think
if you're
With
there,
Shiraj, then yes.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what to do. Sorry, this was and Amira is on board with this. This is not the best friend just being jealous.
No, this is, as far as I can tell, this isn't the best friend just being jealous, but the best friend seems to think that Amira is going to run away with her too.
All right. Wow. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this.
I mean, where I'm from, it's pretty common for people to be married to those of the same sex.
No, it's not that. It's just, I mean, my sister is not gonna like this, but I guess
Why is your sister a homophobe?
no. It was a very important match. I think
Oh, okay.
they've been looking. It's what I was trying to sort of get away from when I ran away. It's politics and trying to find what's best for business, and it's not something that I wanted to be a part of. But I just, Your Highness, what do you think?
It's a tough spot to be in. But if they're running anyways, then this wedding is doomed. So we might as well help them run. And then run ourselves.
Well, why help them run? Why not have the wedding here between those two?
We could also do that.
I mean, we'd have to ask the bride and the best friend if that's correct. Mind you, I'm just going off what I read through their minds, so this might all be completely wrong. But I'm getting better at knowing what people like, so I think that this is okay. I think we should just have the wedding here. I mean, all these people are here to celebrate.
This is true. Well, how do we tell them that we know their secret?
I can take care of that.
You notice at this point that the bride has gone to pee again?
Vikram, seeing this, is just going to start strolling over to the bathroom.
Okay, are you trying to sort of stealthily sneak behind, or are you just going to follow her to the bathroom?
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
I need to think. No, Vikram would just, he has great charisma, but, he's bad on wisdom, so he's just gonna walk, follow behind her, hey, what's up?
And is anyone else following, or is it just you
No.
going after the bride trying to pee?
I am not following.
Not going back in there.
I guess I will reluctantly follow after as well.
I like to think that you're, 2 paces behind him, so that in case he gets in trouble, you can just duck behind something.
Okay, so at this point, you see the bride sort of going towards the outhouse, and you see the best friend over there saying, "Who are these weird people, and what do they want?" And the bride's like, "I don't know. I think they're with my mama." And mama means sort of maternal uncle. And she says, "Well, I don't know. That friend was doing weird things to me. It's like he could see my thoughts or something. That was weird. It felt really intrusive." And she's like,
Hi.
"You!" And she walks up to you and puts her finger right on your chest,
The bride or
What?
the best friend?
the best friend. "What are you? Stop doing that!"
I'm just trying to stop this wedding, because I can tell that you don't want this to happen, and I don't think you do either. And I look right at the bride.
And the bride just looks at the best friend, and her face looks fallen, and she said, "What did you tell him?"
Oh, she didn't tell me anything. I read her mind, because we were concerned.
And the best friend's like, "That's not any better."
I catch up
Okay.
to the group and the huddle, and I turn to Amira and I'm like, "Amira, is this true? You don't want to be married? You want to run away?"
No, she wants to be married, just not to a boy.
Sorry.
She wants to be
Yes.
married to her, and I point at the best friend.
What is it you want?
I'm a bard with no tact.
And at this point, she just starts doing her hand, like rubbing all the henna off, like not caring about hanging it on.
No,
She
don't
said-
run!
Why would
And she
you do that?
says, I just want freedom. And Mama John, you know the life that I have to lead. I have to marry someone at some point, and I have to make sure there's an heir. And for that, I have to marry a boy. I mean, I don't mind a boy, but I don't want this life at all. I just want to not be a noble. You know, Mama, I really envy you. You get to go around having adventures and not worrying about being a noble, and clearly your girlfriend doesn't mind that either. And
Girlfriend? And he looks at Siraj. I wasn't aware that you had a girlfriend.
I don't.
Oh.
Um,
And he blushes slightly when you say that.
and
Looks like
you
Ron.
and your girlfriend get to do whatever you want and travel and
Yeah.
not have to be a noble and taking care of things, and I just want that. But I don't want to upset my parents. They have so many hopes and dreams for me. So I
Well-
have to marry someone, and I figured if I said yes to this marriage, he lives near the mountains, I could just escape and, no one would be the wiser.
I
I
understand.
have a lot of things to say, but I believe that Siraj should say it first,
I
since he
just-
is your uncle.
I understand. That's it's exactly what I was trying to get away from when I left home. But you have to make sure this is what you really want. I made some choices after I left, and I ended up some places that I didn't want to be, and I wish that I was home. I don't. I'm happy to be back now. Family is very important, but I was lucky to find people to help me, and it can be a dangerous world. But if that's what you truly want, then I wouldn't wait.
I don't know.
Wait.
So you're saying it's okay to shame Mama and Abba's family by just leaving?
Well, I think maybe there should be a conversation, and maybe we can help with that. I don't know. I don't think she'll take it very well, but it's better than sneaking away in the night, and it's better than going through with something that you truly don't want.
So, are you two just friends?
And at this point, the best friend is giving you the if looks could kill, you would be Ash right now, sort of a look.
Aditi will kind of nudge him.
I thought you weren't there. You were.
Oh, no,
coming
wait.
back.
Oh, shoot. No, don't hurt. Okay, never mind.
I'm asking legitimately just because I'm curious, because if you need to get married to someone and you love each other, why not marry each other?
And at this point, Gulabo looks to you and says, "Well,
were
that
gonna
friend
run
was
away
doing
with
weird
me.
things to me. It's like he could
You want
See
to
my-
be with me, right?
stop doing that." And the bride is
I'm just trying to stop
quiet
this wedding,
at this point.
because
and the best friend's
I
like,
can tell that you don't
Wait.
want this.
"You
Her,
love me
face
too,
looks
right?"
fallen. We were going
And she said,
to
"What did you
leave
tell
together,
And
Oh, she didn't tell me
be
anything. I read her
together.
mind because we were concerned.
And the best
at
friend's
this
like, "That's
point, the
not
bride's
any
like, I really need
better.
to
Pee. I think I'm gonna go pee now." And the best friend is now sort of, her mouth has dropped, and she is just quiet and in absolute shock.
I'm going to pat the best friend on the shoulder and say, "It's okay. She might not just be ready yet." But on a positive note, perhaps it would be best to just not run away, because that would involve a lot of sadness for your family. But you could stay here, not get married, and explore your feelings for each other. Or perhaps call off the wedding and travel together and explore your feelings that way. You don't need to declare that you're in love right away.
I think Amir needs time to think.
I'm talking to the best friend. Amir's in the bathroom.
And at this point, it's been like about 5 or 10 minutes,
Oh,
and
shit.
the peeing is like a constant fall, and you're pretty sure no one humanly pees for that long.
I will call. I will beckon Aditi and Karani over, and then I will run to the other side of the. I'm guessing it's kind of like an outhouse.
Yeah, it's an outhouse.
Yeah.
It looks secure. Give me an investigation or a perception
Ooh,
check.
I'm good at investigation. Yay.
You notice at this point that there's just a little crack, like the back is not completely secure. And as you look through, you notice there's no one in the and you see water falling from above, there's a water skin that's used to sort of a source of water to clean up, and that's just been slowly leaking and leaking and leaking, but there's no one in the outhouse.
Yeah, I will see this and then just straighten up and be like, she's gone.
Oh, so she's turned invisible.
I don't think so. I think she has run away. And I will call, and I'll turn as Aditi is coming towards us, and I'll say, ma'am.
No. Who are you calling?
I'm calling Aditi.
Okay. Because he was worried that you were calling her mom.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
You really need to stop mamming me. What's going on?
Amira is gone, and we need to find her.
And Amira wasn't ready to say I love you yet.
That much was obvious.
Rewind 2 seconds. Very short summary. What just happened?
I
She's run
confronted
away.
them,
Uh-huh.
asked them if they loved each other.
Uh-huh.
The best friend said it. I'm bad at names, I'm sorry. But Amira didn't. She went to the bathroom and then she disappeared.
She wants to be free. She wants to run away.
Well, I can empathize with that, as you know.
Can't we all? But we still need to. I don't want her out there on her own.
And
Where's
at this
Bailu?
point, you notice the best friend has also disappeared.
Damn, double damn. Bailu? Where's Bailu?
Pailu is busy sticking his snout in various buckets of sweets.
How
In
far?
fact, you notice that at this point, there's nothing but crumbs, and an entire tray of laddus has been demolished. And he's on his tummy rolling over, just, why did I do this?
Oh my god.
Did I break Leona?
I think it was in genuine shock there for a moment because her freaking panther is just the most dopey thing. She doesn't know whether to be mad at him or if it's cute. Come on.
And you notice there's a whole bunch of kids on one side absolutely terrified of this cat that has demolished this tray of laddus.
He's harmless. Although maybe this is a good thing for now. Because I know of some kids that are overly friendly with Bailu. Nudge, nudge, Musafir's reference. Y'all will see. Damn it. How far away is he? Is
Bailu?
Is Bailu within listening distance?
Yeah.
Okay. She will whistle for him and she'll be like, here. She'll try to get him to come here right now.
He'll sort of loll around a little bit and slowly saunter his way towards you, looking like he has a very upset stomach. And as he reaches you, he yawns, but it's actually a belch.
Oh.
You can even smell and taste it.
No. Oh, I don't want laddus tonight. Nobody feed me any more laddus, please.
And then Herc's right in front of you. And now he feels a little better.
Are you done? Are you done yet? Yes? Okay. And she's gonna... Yeah, and she'll get down to his level and she'll be like, we have a job to do. I know. she's gonna quickly run and grab like a tube of the henna, and she's gonna hold it up to Pailu's nose, and she's gonna go, "We're looking for this smell." And she'll kind of chuck it over her shoulder because she doesn't need it anymore. I'm hoping to use keen smell.
Sure. So roll that with advantage.
And how do I add the
that
advantage?
will be, I will say investigation or perception.
Okay.
Well, it's specifically for perception, so perception only.
Perception. And how do I add the advantage?
So I believe on your sheet in the top hand corner there should be advantage, normal, disadvantage.
Oh.
Use quick advantage, then roll.
Okay. Perception.
Okay, so initially he smells it, starts sort of sniffing like a bloodhound, but a cat, panther, and goes straight to the bathroom and looks at you. And then starts sniffing around the outhouse, and then starts going off into the fields.
Follow that cat.
Yeah, I follow.
Yeah.
I follow.
Okay.
Aditi
So is
will
everybody
actually
following?
Yeah, we're all following, and Aditi will actually like almost do like a running jump onto his back, and she'll be like, quickly now, like she wants him to hurry the heck up and follow like the scent trail.
Okay.
But what about everyone here? Shouldn't someone? What about the bride? Won't they notice that she's gone?
Distract them.
I have a solution. And he's going to hold up his hands like this, and he casts disguise self.
Oh my
And he is not
god.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. So this is we will take a very short break for about 5 minutes, and we will come back. This is the perfect place to end this.
Yes.
So we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Give me one sec here, folks. Alrighty, everyone, bye. We'll be back.
Bye.
we are coming back in, and the audio, ta-da! We are back for part 2.
We're back.
We're back. All right.
Drama.
Drama! So much drama. It's so good. It's like an actual serial. I love it so much. It is so good. It is Sarzamin, the soap opera, and it is so good.
So we have a runaway bride, and one of the party members decides to now dress as the bride. So I will ask you, how much detail do you put in disguising yourself as the bride?
I mean, he spent a long time like talking to her, like being up in her face when they were in the circle, so like he knows a good amount. So he probably puts a good amount of detail, but it's not like, oh yeah, there's no way to tell that it's not wrong. Like there's definitely like maybe her ears aren't as pointy as they should be, or like her hair's a little shorter than it should be. So there are just little details.
You notice as you were doing it that she is in fact a half elf, whereas Shiraj, his sister's family, and most of the people in the Downen family are humans.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that was something like, yeah, okay.
That's good to know. So yeah, he's a half elf then, which he wasn't before.
And I will say, just this will matter in how people interact with you. Give me an intelligence check to see how much detail you get.
Oh no.
So it is just your intelligence and a d20. Everybody did have inspiration when they started, so if you want to use your 1 point of inspiration.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my 1 point of inspiration on that one. 11, so not much better, but
you'll see how it. So what do you do as you make your way back from the bathroom?
He's kind of like hunching over slightly to make sure that his head aligns with the illusion. And he also calls out to Adesh, who is his unseen servant, who's around for an hour. So,
Yep.
And he's going to have Adesh like sneak up and grab some of the paste, so he can put it like so it's on his face, so that when people come and touch his face, they can still feel paste that's already there.
Okay.
So yeah, so he's going slowly to try and make sure that Adesh comes back in time.
Okay, so we'll now switch to everyone else. As you were tracking, what is Bailu's land speed?
Ooh,
It should be there on the top, like.
Would it be on his sheet or my sheet?
His sheet.
His speed is 50 feet.
Okay. So he's bounding ahead and slowly getting away from you. Sort of as every turn, 20 feet more, 20 feet more, 20 feet more. Are you all sort of running at this point to catch up?
Can I... So if I wild shaped into a camel, would Josh be able to...
Yes, you may.
Yeah.
What is the camel's speed?
50 feet.
Yeah, you can certainly do that.
That's so cool.
Awesome. So you see you see Kirani, your companion, suddenly turn into a desert camel in front of you. And sort of, what do you say? Because you can't really talk.
Like, it's kind of nod towards my back, I guess.
Yeah.
Hop
okay,
on.
so you hop on, and you start going, and
That's like the camel equivalent of like driving up and then like someone rolling down the window and being like, "Get in."
we're going shopping.
We're going shopping.
And after about 10 minutes, you see one form sort of going in one form running, and it's actually not the bride. It's Galabo sort of running. And you catch up with her, and she sort of looks at the both of you and is like, "What are you doing here? Are you following me?"
Galaba, you can't go running off into the wilderness. We're trying to get you and Amir back. We'll have a conversation. We'll figure this out, okay? Just I don't want either of you out there by yourselves.
Wait, you're looking for a mirror too?
Of course. I'm not just going to let my niece run off all on her own.
Okay. And she now sort of sees that you both are bounding off without her. She's trying to keep up.
Go back. Galabo, go back.
No, I'm not leaving her. She's just mad at me. It'll be okay.
Listen.
Is there space on the camel?
I assume there is.
Yeah,
I don't want Galabo.
There's 2 humps, one for each.
I'll turn to DT and see what she thinks to do.
Gulaba, you don't know where she's gone?
No, I was looking for her. I thought you all were stalking me like you did the first time.
Oh my god, Gulaba, we're not stalkers, for God's sakes. Listen, I'll explain to you later what we're doing here. Hop on the camel.
And she looks up and it's like, where did you get a camel?
Don't ask questions, just do it! Stop asking
She
questions!
climbs onto the camel.
Just like, oh my god, I need to sit you down and explain things, but later. First we got a bride to catch.
Yeah, I'll kind of half-heartedly like pull her up behind me.
Okay, and she'll be like,
You eventually reach the stream. You start approaching, you hear a river in the background, and you now see and it's like this really, it's sort of raging river. Like it's not a slow stream, it's actually a really sort of whitewater rafting sort of river. And you see the silhouette of Amira just sort of standing over the river, just pondering. As you see in the distance, you're now catching up. And she's just sort of thinking and is debating going into the water, but hasn't quite gone into the water yet.
let me handle this. Okay. Aditi will quickly get off of Pele's back, and she will literally like run up to Amira, and she'll be like, stop, don't do what you're thinking about doing, just listen to me for 1 minute, please. And she will actually remove her dupatta and pull out a badge that she has, and it's her symbol of being a Mahajan princess. And she'll just wait for a moment.
She sort of looks at you and she says, what did you think I was doing?
I don't know what you were going to do, but wait a minute. Come here and talk to me. I don't know why you ran away, but I need to talk to you.
Okay.
I completely understand wanting to run away. I completely understand wanting to be away from being a noble. I'm the princess of Mahajan, and I ran away. And I miss home. It's not an easy life, and I'm very lucky that I have your uncle, Shiraj, to help me. Because without him, I would be very, very lost. I would like you to come back with me. I want us to find a solution. I know things are confusing right now and complicated, but we can figure this out as a team. You, me, your uncle, Vikram, and even Gulabo.
I just don't have the face to show to anyone. I mess things up with Galabo. It seems like no matter what I do, I'll be disappointing my parents.
Your parents will come around, I hope. And if not, you will always have a place with me. But Gulabo is just as worried about you as I am. And she's on the back of that camel over there.
Where did you get a camel
Oh
from?
my god, I will explain later.
She says, okay.
Just don't worry about the camel, okay? Can you just come home, please? Can we just...
But where did you get that camel
Oh my
from? I mean, it wasn't there before.
It's Bailu's friend, and she'll point at the panther.
Where did he come from?
I was riding the panther. Chalni yaar, let's go.
And she says, okay.
Aditi will put her hood back up. And you said she's a halfling?
Elf.
Half elf. Okay. Do you think the two of them can fit on Bailu? Halfling and half elf? No.
Yeah.
Man?
Well,
Maybe.
Bailu sort of is like not allowing her to ride. Just sort of like, nope, I'm not gonna carry that weight. Nope.
You're still not feeling good, Bailu? Okay, fine. There's no more space on the camel.
Galavo, get off.
Galavo, walk.
And Galavo just stares at all of you and steps down and says, where is that weird friend of yours who...
She's the camel, goddammit!
Yeah, I get off Karani and I pat her.
Wait, so the one who was playing, who wanted to be the musician of the wedding is now the camel?
Karani, you can change back now.
Honey,
Thank you.
No, it's fine. Just don't worry about it. Just do you know what? Don't worry about it, alright?
So are you still a camel, Karani?
Yes. Yeah. We need
okay.
to get back.
Yeah.
She's not going to waste a wild shape. Come
That's
on.
true. That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
We'll walk back. You can sit on the cow if you want.
Okay, so who's on what now?
Sorry. I'm suggesting that Galabo and Amira get on the camel, Karani,
Okay.
and I will walk alongside them.
Amira doesn't look Galabo in the eye, and she just looks really sort of ashamed and is just like sort of her head low as you all are going, and like Galabo's trying to sort of poke her or talk to her, and she's just not talking as you are sauntering back.
Just a
Maybe
jaunt.
a slightly slower
Sorry.
walk. Maybe walk a little slower. Walk a little slower.
And at this point, we'll just go back to the
Oh
wedding.
my god. What a point to... Yeah.
And Vikram, who is... Sorry, not Amira.
Mhm.
is, and most of the people have blessed the bride at this point, so luckily there's not as many people coming up towards you.
Mhm.
But at some point, some of the other girlfriends are like, "Oh, I wonder what it's gonna be like, like, ooh, and we have to make sure we barricade the door on their wedding night so we can get lots of money. You'll help, right?" And they're sort of like nudging, poking you.
He's going to nod and then cast minor illusion.
Okay.
To create the sound of Amira speaking and saying, "Mhm, mhm, of course."
Give me a deception check with advantage because of all the things you were doing. Okay. Yeah, you're just nodding. And now back to the party that's coming back with actual Amira. So you notice this happening as you're going. Do y'all want to say or do anything?
You just see Vikram in the very center of these people, just like nodding. Except it's Amira. I want to know how Mira responds to
Yeah.
It looks just slightly off. Like, clearly this is not the same bride, but in all the chaos and now food starting to get made and like the festivities, people are lighting little diyas and lamps everywhere to sort of like it's now evening. At this point, the people who are coming back and going through the fields and everything, Galabo just sort of sighs in frustration and she just slides off the camel and she just starts walking off on her own in a
Gal-
different direction.
Galabo, where are you going?
What does it matter? Nobody cares.
They do care. I care. We all care. Come on, don't do this.
I'm just like a homewrecker, aren't I? I mean,
You-
that's why I'm just going.
No, come back here. You two need to talk out whatever is going on between the two of you. And then we'll figure it out from there. Can we like, is there like a tent or something that she can like shove these people into so that they can like sit
You
there
are
and
in
work
the
it
middle of the wilderness
Oh
at
my
the
God.
at this point. Like, there's like maybe a couple of trees but it's like valley. There was water, and you notice now at this point it started to rain,
out? Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
and it's now pouring rain, cats and dogs, and Galabo, as she's walking away, is complete dejection. Hair's sopping wet,
Aw.
clothes are sopping wet.
Hello,
And-
darkness, my old friend.
Um,
No.
and now even the bride is like all her haldi's falling. It's now staining her clothes, which were sort of white-ish in sort of like this is our like plain clothes, not very decorative.
Mhm.
And some of the haldi's now falling on your camel fur, and the henna is dripping onto your camel fur.
Womp womp. Oh, damn it.
Galabo,
Let's-
look, and I'll gesture to the sky and I'll be like, I don't think the wedding's happening, so come back and we'll talk it out.
Doesn't matter.
Can someone please explain to this girl? I'm trying to power through it. Can someone please explain to this girl? Oh my god. Like,
I'll turn to Amira and be like, Amira, I think your friend needs some answers.
But I feel like I already messed it up. I think I'd rather just go jump in a well than say something to her.
You have to. This is as your uncle. You have to say something to her. She just wants to hear from you, from her friend, what you're really feeling.
Come back,
Whatever that-
Galabo. Fuck you.
hey, be nice.
No, come back. I love you too. Just come back. You're just saying that. But she stops.
Aditi will hop off of Bailu, and she'll just kind of like make a gesture for like Bailu to go follow Gulabo and basically herd Gulabo back.
Okay, so Bailu goes over and sort of like headbutts
Yes.
Gulabo.
Good.
And Galabo just looks and sort of pets the head absentmindedly. So now you decide to say you love me? Yeah. So you're coming, right? Maybe. But and sort of like there's this awkward silence as they're both don't know quite what to say to each other. And Galabo sighs and sort of walks along with Bailu.
And Bailu's bringing her back?
Yeah.
Look, the one thing I can say is that whatever happens next, you two will get through it stronger if you get through it together. Right, Chiraj?
Right. And we've got your back. So we'll figure this out. I don't know how I'm going to explain this to my sister, but we'll manage.
Listen, I got some diplomacy in me. We'll figure it out.
And Galabo says, it doesn't really change anything about the whole air thing.
Adoption.
Huh?
I'm not there, but adoption.
Listen, there's ways. That's not the problem at the moment. The problem is getting the two of you married. Let's have a wedding tonight.
Great fucking wedding. And she just looks at the sky
All
and
right,
it's all
fine.
raining and
Tomorrow then, and when the sun comes out. Well, let's get this wedding started. Maybe? Or at least get the dialogue going. Let's go back, right? It's not too late.
Okay. At this point, we're gonna cut to, at the same time, the wedding's happening, and it now starts to rain and pour, and everybody's now running for cover under sort of like, oh gosh, the word where basically there's like this 4 poles that have like a flower-like canopy on top, and there's a word for it, and I just don't know.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember the word either.
Is it
Yeah.
like the mandap? No.
Sort of like that, but it's actually
Yeah.
just sort of like a roof over like a staging area.
Right.
And people are starting to run into whatever sort of cover they can get or into houses, and they now look at you rather strangely as you are getting wet, but none of your makeup or haldi or mehndi or
Oh my
anything is
God.
being affected, and they are just looking at you strangely as you're like sitting there completely fine, not really moving or doing anything. Or are you?
He's just kind of sitting there because like the rain's fine for him. He doesn't really mind it. And
Yep.
then he like looks at them and realizes
What
that they're
are you gonna
looking at him.
Oh my god.
Can I do like an intelligence check?
Sure.
Like, what he does? I just want to see what he actually ends up doing. A 9, so he doesn't do anything smart. So he looks up, see that water's falling on him, and he goes, "Oh!" And he's going to cast Create or Destroy Water, and he's going to destroy 10 gallons of rain that are falling down on him. So there's just now a dry area around
And there are
him.
now collective gasps from everybody, and you hear something like witchcraft or I knew there was something wrong with her, and various other sort of like
Oh, God.
No. Hey,
Um,
side note, how long does this last?
Oh, Create or Destroy Water, it's instantaneous, so it doesn't last very
Oh,
long.
damn.
So there's like all of a sudden like this big dry spell, and then rain again falls.
And I can only do it once per day as a water guest. So.
So now we cut back to the rest of the group as they're slowly making their way. She
Combat.
Lavo just reluctantly says, I know whatever happens, I'm gonna be blamed for it all. And that's okay.
I'm not so sure that's true.
Well, I'm not even royalty or a lord or a noble. I just came... The Prince of Firdos asked me to be a proper courtesan, or not courtesan, proper companion for as a boon, as part of the boon that he had given the family. I wasn't supposed to fall in love with you. I was supposed to actually spy on you and make sure you were kept safe.
Oh, plot twist.
And and at this point, Amira says, "Oh, I know." She's like, "You knew?" Well, yeah, I keep reading all your journals. You read my journals?
Oh my god.
You read my dream journal?
And they are now bickering about privacy and not to read other people's things. And they've basically stopped, and she's hopped off the camel, and they both are now yelling at each other.
And Aditi is gonna kind of like look at Bailu and kind of like do a little gesture like this, and like do a little gesture like this, and basically is hoping that Bailu will just keep walking in circles around them and basically bumping them a little closer to each other.
Okay, give me... what sort of a check should I do for Bailu to push them together?
Sleight of hand!
What?
Sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand.
Sure, sleight of hand.
Do I roll it with advantage? Oh,
No.
never mind. Just take it. Just take it.
Yeah, somehow sort of pushing them forward, and at some point, Galabo just sort of looks at the Panthers like, what the fuck are you doing, Bailu?
Bailu will like push, like come behind the other one and push her forward into the other one.
Yep. And they start hugging very awkwardly because one got pushed into the other. And she says, and they both sort of are like, okay, so I guess you're not getting married. No, I guess I'm not getting married. And she says, and Galabo says, well, no matter what happens, you have the Prince of Firdos's blessing, so that's something, right? And she says, I guess so. I don't know why he has such a fascination with me. I mean, ever since, like, I don't know. It's like, well, all I know is that he seems to be very concerned with your welfare. And, well, I guess we should go tell Ummi and Abu about everything. Yeah,
You
we
leave
probably should.
You can leave that prince to me and I'll deal with all of that stuff. Possibly. Hopefully. Maybe. I don't know. I think this has gone into like this full like I will deal with the politics, but like God, like y'all just get your shit together.
At
This
this point,
is so unexpected.
You now are seeing the lights of the village, although most of them have been extinguished due to the fact that it is raining cats and dogs. And you are slowly making your way. Now back to Vikram.
Oh my God.
Who is, everybody's now staring at you, and you hear, at this point, you both, those on the outskirts inside, you hear gasps of witchcraft, or there's something weird. I knew she was bewitched. I knew she was cursed. I knew she's unlucky. Oh, she should have married that tree.
What? Married a tree? Hold on. Me as Russ is having a moment. Married a tree?
Give me a religion check.
I totally know what this reference is. Oh my God.
You're not quite sure of the details, but the last time you heard someone marrying a tree, it had something to do with some sort of unlucky, like some inauspiciousness or unluckiness. It's really,
Okay.
like somehow it had something to do with the person who is having the arboreal marriage being unlucky, and that's about as much as you can remember.
So he's sitting there and he sees everyone staring at him, and he's like, oh, an audience. Okay. And he like gets up and begins like brushing himself off, and he calls over to Adesh, and Adesh brings over these little anklets that have these bells on them.
Yep.
And he begins putting them on one at a time.
Okay.
And once he has both of them on, he says, my performance today shall be of what's like a good world creation story that he would know of. Or like a good love story that he would
I
know
will
of.
say the tale. A good love story.
I love this. Oh my god, that's such a good idea.
I will say the tale of the milkmaid and the cowherd.
Okay.
Cowherder, whatever. What do you call someone who looks after cows? A cowboy? No, that
Farmhand?
feels wrong
Farm-
somehow.
The farmhand.
Farmhand. The farmhand and the milkmaid.
So
and
he
how
gets up
the
and says,
farmhand would always go and tease the milkmaid as she was at the well trying to get water for her house, and sort of the whole sort of like holding her wrist and sort of doing all of these sort of motions.
What if the farmhand is also a girl?
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. That's the story you know, but how you adapt it is completely up to you.
Okay, cool. So he gets up and he says, today I will be telling you all the story of the milkmaid and the farmhand. And he begins to dance, Kathak.
And now everybody's convinced you've been possessed by a spirit as that is happening.
So he starts off the story telling it from the farmhand's perspective of just going to the well every day and like pestering this milkmaid and like bothering her. And then he like stands firm in like a very still, solid position, and he waves his arms around himself, and he's going to use Mantle of Inspiration.
Okay.
Which allows him to create this fantastical appearance around himself. It's one of the College of Glamour abilities.
So what's your charisma modifier for the purposes of
charisma modifier is +3, I believe.
Okay, so 3 other people.
I mean, it doesn't really affect them because it's all hit points and stuff. It's more just for the elaborate appearance that he's doing it.
Okay.
And he is now appearing as the milkmaid. So instead of his white hair, he has this long, flowing white hair that's in a braid.
Well, technically, it was the bride's hair, which was like brown.
But he's dropping the illusion at the same time. So now it's also his blue skin, except it's all very much the same color and same tone. And he's wearing the outfit of the milkmaid. So he's just basically gone fully into this woman's outfit, and he is now dancing from her part of the story.
It's at this point the camel and Pailu and everyone appears and sees like this almost like there's like this circle of like horrified faces as to like equal part fascination at the performance, but equal part horrified as what happened to my baby girl.
And he's just dancing.
What do you do when you come across a scene and some people turn to see what's going on and they gasp and like, oh, there's 2 of you! And they point at Amira and then at Vikram, and it's just absolute pandemonium at this point.
I want to make very clear that how he's dressed, it's not supposed to be a joke. It's very much like he's actually dressed for women and his makeup is
but
done
the thing is, you were supposed to be the bride. You are not the bride anymore.
Yeah.
This is a very serious performance in the middle of a very
bad rainstorm.
A bad rainstorm and like a destroyed wedding. At the same time, it's like cinematically beautiful to imagine Vikram doing fucking Kathak in the rain. Like, oh my god, I'm living for that mental image. But unfortunately, it's happening in like the sea of chaos, which is just like priceless. Oh my god. And I just like, I can't even right now.
At this point, your sister, Fizza, looks at you and she's like, please tell me you know what is going on, brother.
I jump down. Well, I guess I was just beside the camel, so I go up to her, and I'm like, I guess the rain's pouring down, and I'm like, it's okay. Everything's fine. Amira is not getting married, I don't think.
She looks at Amira, looks at you, is like, what do you mean she's not getting married? And Amira just sort of puts her head down and doesn't say anything and is just not like literally like, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, not out here, folks. Let's not do this to her out here. Shiraj, take the bride and the other inside with the family. You handle that. I'm gonna handle diplomacy and make sure everyone's having a better time out here somehow. I don't know how, but I'm gonna figure this out. Basically, go.
Yeah, I'll take Fizza and Amira and Galabo inside somewhere we can have a conversation.
Okay, you all go in, and now Fizza looks like she's about to blow a gasket. She's like, "What do you mean there's no wedding? What happened? Did she do something? I knew it."
Amira, you have to speak for yourself.
Amira just looks at you like, "Please, I don't want to." Like she has this look of like, "I don't really want to. Please, Mama Chan."
Okay, I turn to Fizza and I say, Amira has made her choice, and you said you wouldn't force her into anything, and this is what she's decided. She won't be marrying the Lord's son from our village. I'm sorry.
And she looks incredulous. She's like, "Beti, we said you told us this is what you wanted. Why are you suddenly changing your mind? I mean, we never forced you into this. You happily agreed to this. Why would you do this to us on the night we were supposed to leave? What are you trying to do to us?" And Amira just sort of is not saying anything. She's like, "I'm sorry, me. I don't, it's not that I don't want to marry him. I don't want to marry anyone." And she's like, "But Beti, you know how it is. At some point you have, like, your but like, your Abba Jan and and for those he has a lot of standing, and the prince also would really love to see you find a good match. He's done so much for us. He's given us wealth. He has made sure you are protected and safe and have the pick of whoever you want. Why are you doing this to us?" She's like, "I don't want to do all of this." And it's like, "And this is how, then why did you say yes in the first place? We told you it was okay." And they're now starting to really have a full-blown fight.
She's in love with Galabo.
At this point, she just stops. She's like, "Sorry, I didn't hear that. What did you say?"
I said she's in love with Galabo, and that's why they can't get married. And they need some time to figure out what exactly the nature of their relationship is. But that's why she didn't tell you. That's why she wasn't sure herself. And I'm not married, and I didn't make a political marriage for the good of the business, and you still welcome me back with open arms. So she'll make her own way.
And she just sort of like puts her hand in front of your face. And she says, "Is this true? You like Galabo?" And Amira now is looking very scared and is sort of behind Shira. Just says, "Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we've spent time together and I really like her." She's like, she grabs her by the ear and she's like, couldn't you find a nice noble girl?"
Oh, no, she didn't.
And she just says, "But mommy, the Prince of Firdos sent her." And at this point, now they're having another bicker, another bickering match that has begun. Aditi, what are you doing outside?
Wishing I could go in there and fight this mother. But beyond that, I mean, okay, I guess the question is Vikram still dancing?
Yep.
Yep.
At this point, I will say the dance is close to finishing. You're close to finishing the deal.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
When it comes to the finale, he's going to cast Minor Illusion
Oh my god.
and create the illusion of the farmhand
Oh my
of when they
God.
both decide to get married, and the milkmaid is on her knee with a ring, and the betrothal, and that's where the dance ends.
And everyone just looks incredibly confused at this entire thing. And
But was it
walk off.
beautiful?
I think
There's like
they
a
will
couple
applaud.
of kids who are doing this.
I think they will applaud. You can see like Bailu's like, looking very, very pleased with the whole performance, and I think they will applaud and then just be like, get the heck over here. Damn it. Just,
Okay.
What is Kirani doing?
Walks off.
So she turned back, but into a person, but like did it kind of off to the side, like
Okay.
no one would see, and then she also joined in the clapping.
Okay. So it's like
Bikram
smooth.
definitely like
The camel
bows, like,
disappeared and came back, and you're just like clapping.
Bikram bows like once or twice and is like pushed off where he's sitting by Aditi, and he just sort of like walks away.
I think they will actually take over the space that Vikram was standing in, because that's kind of the vantage point right now.
Yeah.
And she will kind of address the crowd, and she will go. She will say, and what's the name of the village we're in?
Kushintag. I'll type it in.
That's okay. That's all I
Yeah.
needed. Fellow resident, not fellow, sorry. Beloved residents of Kushintag, I want to thank you all for your hospitality. I have come from a faraway place, and being a part of tonight's festivities has been wondrous, despite being interrupted by the rain.
Which is still pouring like cats
Which is
and
still
dogs.
pouring like cats and dogs, so at least people are still listening. I think it is clear and safe to say that there will be no wedding. Not today. Not tonight. Not tomorrow. But perhaps another day. For now, I think it is best if we put away our things and have a quiet evening. And perhaps tomorrow morning we will reconvene here. And we will see what needs to be done. But for now, let us have a quiet evening. She's like trying to be diplomatic and like trying to like.
And there's a human man who walks up to you and goes, and you are?
Oops, bad timing.
Or good timing.
Or good timing. Damn it.
Are you the lord of this town?
I am no one, nor am I part of your village panchayat if you have one. But I am
We
noble.
do.
Do you do? Who?
I wish someone would have told me this news, being the father of the bride, before announcing it to the entire village.
Whoopsies. She'll... Okay, before she does that, actually, in this village, is it more respectful to keep the dupatta on or off?
Everybody around you, for the most part, has dupattas on, but you think it's more for the rain at this point than prior.
Okay. She'll drop her dupatta.
And he
So-
sort of gives a little bit of a gasp as he notices the horns.
She'll kind of flash him her little medallion, and then she'll tuck it away before anyone else sees it. And she'll say, "It's best if you go to your daughter, sir. I will handle the wedding guests."
He sort of looks at you, thinks... Actually, give me a persuasion check.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Do. Persuasion. Come on, persuasion. No. Damn it. I have advantage. Can I use
sure.
that? Metz's advantage, please, Lord, save my ass. Do I just re-roll it?
Yeah, just re-roll it.
And that was persuasion. Come on. That's better.
He sort of thinks about whether he's going to say something to you and just walks off and heads towards the manor where Amira and Fizza and Shiraj were.
Okay, cool. What's the crowd doing?
The crowd's now dispersing because clearly there's no wedding. They're all going home.
That's fine.
And you notice that lots of kids are sort of taking trays of laddus with them.
Let them.
And Bailu is sort of sniffing like,
Don't you dare. No more laddus for you, you bad kitten. He's this ginormous panther and she still calls him a kitten. You will have dinner later, but no more laddus. Later! I'm not making you starve. My God.
and just sort of goes in towards the goat that is now quite drenched.
Just Kylie. No one else is gonna eat it. Go for it.
And
At least
starts
it'll keep him
munching on
busy.
the wet and now completely soggy goat, roasted goat.
Well, at least it was roasted. It's fine. He can have it. No one else is gonna eat it at this point.
Yeah, a lot of the two that were running the spit see the panther and flee in terror.
This
Vikram
works.
goes up and cuts off a small piece because he hasn't eaten anything yet.
Oh.
Okay, so at this point in the manor, as the bickering and everything is going on, you hear a voice which you recognize as your brother-in-law saying, "What's this about no wedding happening? Please tell me that was just some elaborate joke." And you see the lord of the manor, your brother-in-law, walk in and stare at the scene that is happening, and just looks to you, Shiraj, for some sort of like, what is going on?
I'm afraid Amira's made her choice. She will not be marrying that man, and I'm sorry for the wasted time and money, but your daughter has made her choice, and Fiza told me that you wouldn't force her. So things have changed, and that's the way it will be.
And he looks at them and he says, "Is that true?" And Amira just sort of puts her head down and seems to really wants to if she could disappear, she would. Has this look on her face. And Fizza says, "See, this is what happens when you spoil her. She doesn't understand responsibility and accountability and doing the right things at the right time. We told her." Yeah.
Please tell me that Aditi is in there.
Yeah, you're in here at that point.
Okay.
And Kirani, are you following or?
I stayed back with Vikram.
Okay.
Oh no, I think Vikram just has like a piece of that he's munching on, and he's walking in a few spaces behind.
Okay, so you all eventually trail in.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, you're here at that point.
So, ma'am, she is staying. That is responsibility. She's taking ownership for her actions. I didn't do that. My name is Vaidehi. Vaidehi Aditi Thakur, ex-Princess of Mahanjan.
So you ran away from your responsibilities.
I did. But your daughter isn't doing that.
Yes, but she's backing out on a wedding just before the wedding happened. I mean, what are we supposed to tell his family and his parents and the alliance we made? We're going back on our word. We've already sent our blessings and our gifts to each other, and they're expecting us in a couple of days, and they're supposed to be married, and everything was fine. Everything was done with her consent, so I don't know why she's being so reckless and irresponsible like this.
Is she truly being reckless, though? She's being true to herself.
Also, consent can be revoked at any time. Just want to throw that out there.
I was gonna say that yes, I completely agree with you as a GM. uh, the
Vikram
parents
just says that. Like Vikram just says that.
and the parents and Fizza just comes up to you and again does the whole finger pointing on chest thing. And you, why were you pretending to be my daughter?
Well, she was gone for almost an hour, and we were trying to find her, so I figured that it would be best for me to take her place for that time until she came back.
Wait, you ran away?
She was ready to run into the wilderness to avoid this marriage, and who knows what could have happened to her.
Without any supplies or anything. She left from the bathroom.
And at this point, the father sort of goes and hugs her, and the mother's still incredibly furious at everything that is happening. And the father just holds her and says, "It's okay, they're family friends. They'll understand. Also, I mean, he's young enough, they can probably find another match." And Fizza starts this is what you get from spoiling your daughter. Don't you know, like, the prince's generosity is not going to last forever. We were supposed to make sure she got married. And he's like, yes, but make sure she's happy and she marries someone who's a good person. And clearly she's not ready for marriage. But did you hear she wants to marry this one? And points at Gulabo, who's slowly trying to back out and leave. uh, I'm pretty sure the prince doesn't want her marrying a nobody. And the father at this point is saying, well, we'll sort that out later in the morning. We don't need to talk about this in front of all these strangers.
Oh, we haven't introduced ourselves yet. Hi, I'm Vikram.
And I just kind of give Vikram a stare, like, no, not.
Now I'm no longer a stranger. Anyways, I don't know if they're truly ready to be married. I believe that they are still working on the relationship, but it is a relationship, and that's good. In addition, it's best to discuss this sort of thing with people outside of your perspective so you can get more views.
And so that our names can get ruined in public, in the court, and everybody knows now that our daughter, and she's trying to say the words but not saying it because the father is looking at her very intensely, like, don't say it.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather lose your daughter because she chose to not be around you? Or maybe not be around people who don't care about you and your family?
The mother sort of is going to say something, Fizza, and she just shuts up.
I don't have parents because they weren't there for me. So I left on my own. I, unfortunately, was more prepared than your daughter. She was planning to go out there in her gown with her mindi and her henna and everything on. No plans. I suspect she would not have survived 2 days. Anyway, is there any food here? I'm gonna go get some more goat, and he just leaves.
And the mother now just finds a chair and just slumps on it. She looks absolutely spent at this point. And the father sort of is petting Amira's head and saying, I don't know everything that is going on, but we will sort this out. and we will figure out what to do. I think the best thing for you now is to go to bed. Galabo, I don't know what is going on right now, but it is best you not join her for tonight. And she sort of nods and starts sort of slinking away, like, I don't want to be here.
But Galabo, stay in town. Don't leave.
She nods, and she sort of exits. And the father looks at all of you and says, well, I thank you all, and especially you, brother, and looks at you, Shiraj, for making sure that my daughter didn't go into the wilderness with just her earrings, which I'm sure would help with paying for things, but would not help necessarily in the wilderness where there is no merchants. So I thank you for coming and making sure she doesn't go off like that. And your friends are welcome to stay here for the night. And we will all deal with this tomorrow.
All right. I thank you for understanding.
I'm not sure I quite understand everything yet.
But you're listening at least, so if I can help in any way.
Of course. I'm a little more concerned about the rain like right now because I've heard that the rivers are flooding. So I need to make sure everybody's taken care of tonight. Can you make sure she's looked after, and sort of points to Amira, and he leaves?
Yeah, I will. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's how it ends. If we were to continue, there would be a flood to contend with, but clearly we're out of time. And that's actually the original conceit. There was supposed to be a flood.
What? That's how you were ending
Yes.
it? You were going to
That's
end
so
it with like
funny.
a flood?
No, it was supposed to be you spend 10 minutes with all of this, and then you decide to investigate the bride and the bribe and everything, and so no flood.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
goodness.
But I hope you all enjoyed
Thank you so
this.
much. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
I had so
Thank
much
you.
fun. That was
And yeah, probably should go around the table one more time, telling a little bit about yourself, where to find you on the interwebs, and yeah, we'll go the other way around now. So we'll start with Leona.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, my name is Leona. You can find me on Twitter at the Lady Bedlam. You can also find me in the Welcome to the Party Discord, which I will drop in the chat right now. Discord, where we are just like having an amazing time. We've had so many fabulous people join us. It's such a joy and a delight, just like all of these fabulous people that you can see on your screen. And so yeah, you should just come and join us, and that's where you can find me.
Okay, and Russ.
Hi, everyone. I'm Russ. You can find me on the podcast Prism Pals, which is a family-friendly, all-queer podcast in 5e. You can find me on Twitter at PrismPalsDM. Yeah, and you can occasionally find me on streams like this.
Awesome. And Adrian?
I'm Adrian. You can find me on Twitter at Adriachuan. Although I'll probably be hopefully back here on Welcome to the Party sometime. And yeah, that's basically it. Or give me a shout on the Discord. Yeah.
And Aletta.
Hey, I'm Aletta. You can find me on Twitter at afiregender. I firegender other places, but Twitter's the best place. Yeah, and I also play Tuesdays. I don't remember the exact Twitch channel, but I'll be posting it on Twitter. Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then I will also be in another Welcome to the Party, a longer series that's happening soon. Yeah.
Yeah. And I am Miriam. I'm the GM. I I'm currently writing Serzamin, which is this campaign setting that you just saw this wedding was set in. I have a Patreon, which I will put in Discord shortly. If you are interested in chipping in a little, see all the cool stuff that I'm writing, as well as tomorrow, since it's my birthday, April 29th.
Happy birthday!
I will be dropping Meet the Cast for the Musafir's podcast as soon as I can get all the tech working, which also features Leona. And our first episode will release May 6th. And that you can find that on the musafirspodcast.com for more information, as well as the Musafir's Pod on Twitter. I have a lot of links. And I also am here on 3B all the time, or not all the time, quite frequently, and I will be a player for next week's game, which I believe is the Quiet Year run by stuff. Find the right person. Which will be run by, come on, load. No, that's not the person who's running it. The name's not come on, load. It is by Kevin Hong. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty great next week. And yeah. POC D&D just joined the party. What?
Yay!
And I think we are now going into the whole who are we rating next?
The raid thing, yep, I'm working on that. Thank you to everyone who followed, subbed, hosted, rated, and were just amazing and awesome in our chat.
Yeah.
As always, remember to join us on the Discord, which is the link that I dropped. We also have a Patreon, and we have merch, and I'm going to throw those links in here as well, so that we have those going, in case you want some goodies, because we have some really awesome stuff. What else have I got on here? And up next on Welcome to the Party, not a whole lot. That's our Sunday, folks. But we'll see you back here tomorrow for Masks, that runs every Monday night. We are going to be rating, where's the name? They are called Magic and Modifiers. So let me just get that raid going. It sometimes likes me, it sometimes doesn't, so we are going to give this a shot and see how it goes. Please hold. Come on. Let's see. No, it won't let me. Alrighty. I have someone else who is going to get that going for me. That's all right. But anyways, thank you very much, folks. We are going to head out
see it
shortly.
happening.
Yes, it is happening now. Alrighty, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Going to just do that.